This is Module 2, Lesson 5, Eastern Philosophy. The term Eastern philosophy is typically used to refer to broad philosophies in Asia, especially the various philosophies of China, India, Japan, Korea, and the Middle East, the birthplace of the three monotheistic or Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. In the first part of this module, we already mentioned that the Western philosophy is typically fragmentary and specific. If you imagine a Western world, there is a demarcation line that divides the material and the spiritual, the body and the spirit, the visible and the invisible, and the sacred and the profane. On the other hand, the Eastern world does not have this demarcation line. There is no imaginary line that separates the material and the spiritual, or the sacred and the profane. In the world we live, the visible and the invisible coexist. We exist in this world together with the invisible beings. Halimbawa, kapag pumupunta tayo sa mga liblib na lugar o kagubatan, nasasabi natin yung mga katagan na tabi-tabi po o makikiraan po. Sa amin sa Bicol, ang kumpletong magic word ay ito, tabi po apo, puwera galaw po. Meron din kaming tinatawag na taong lipod. Sabi ng mga matatanda, sila yung mga hindi natin nakikita. Kaya pagsapit ng alas 6 ng gabi noon, pinagbabawalan na kaming maglaro sa labas ng bahay. Isa ito sa mga indikasyon na sa subconscious natin, we acknowledge some creatures that also exist in the world we live. I don't know if you also have some experiences like this, or kung may mga ganito ring paniniwala sa inyong probinsya o rehiyon. Pero this is very interesting at gusto kong makita at mabasa sa comment section yung mga kaparehong paniniwala sa inyong kultura. Paki-comment na lang po ha, salamat. And then another thing is that the Western approach in symbolic communication is evaluated along the criterion of truth, especially the religious and scientific expressions that should express the true nature of reality. In the Eastern philosophy, the concern is how to experience the truth of reality and how it brings changes and transformation in our lives. That's so much about how to think about it. And the most important characteristic of the Eastern philosophy or Eastern worldview is the awareness of the unity and the mutual interrelation of all things and events. The experience of all phenomena in the world as manifestations of a basic oneness. All things are seen as interdependent and inseparable parts of the cosmic whole, as different manifestations of the same ultimate reality. As I have said, the Eastern philosophy contains a wide range of philosophies and traditions in Asia, but in relation to values education, we will focus mainly on the philosophies of man that are derived from the religious teachings of Buddhism, Confucianism, and Taoism. Let's go and let's talk about them. Let's start with Buddhism. Buddhism is an Indian religion or philosophical tradition based on the teachings attributed to Siddhartha Gautama, born in the 5th century BCE, who became the first Buddha or the awakened one. Buddhism encompasses a variety of traditions, beliefs, and spiritual practices that are largely based on the teachings of Buddha and the philosophical interpretations from different times and generations. Buddhism is a non-theistic religion. There is no God. It relies on its philosophical and moral discipline to attain its goal, the nirvana, the emptiness or the summum bonum or the highest good. Nirvana has commonly been interpreted as the extinction of the three fires or three poisons, greed, aversion, and ignorance. When the fire is extinguished, the release from the cycle of rebirth is attained. Buddhists believe that a person is a chain of life, continuity from a womb to tomb or from cradle to grave. Every part of an individual changes physically and mentally in one lifetime. This is the belief that there is no ultimate and unchanging essence in anyone or anything. Buddhism gives importance to values like love, wisdom, goodness, calm, and self-control. The Buddha offered metaphysical knowledge into the nature of reality as well as a moral way of life. The middle way is an important idea in Buddhist thought and practice. to seek moderation and avoid the extremes of self-indulgence and self-mortification. That's the middle way. The basis of all Buddhist practice is morality. The Buddha recommended certain ways of living as helpful on the path toward nirvana. Buddhists undertake this as rules of training and follows 10 precepts as part of their daily lives. The 10 precepts are respect for life, do not harm any living thing, do not steal, honor the body, do not misuse senses and sexuality, do not lie, do not cloud the mind, do not speak of others' errors and faults, do not elevate the self and blame others, do not be stingy, give generously, do not be angry, actualize harmony, and do not defile the 3 treasures, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Buddhist teachings are based on the 4 noble truths. The first is the truth of suffering, that life is suffering, including birth, disease, old age, and death. And then the second is the truth of the cause, that suffering is caused by our desires and ignorance. And then the third is the truth of cessation, that suffering can be ended if its causes, desires, and ignorance are removed. And then the fourth is the truth of the way, which is the middle way, between the extremes of asceticism and indulgence, or the eightfold path, which includes right knowledge and understanding or views, seeing the world and life as it really is. And then right resolve or right intention and thoughts, resisting evil, thinking with kindness and compassion. Then right speech, saying nothing to hurt others. Right conduct or action, not harming living things, not taking what is not given, not having harmful sexual relationships, not taking drugs or drink which cloud the mind. And then right livelihood, or earning a living in a fair and honest way that does not injure others. And then, right effort, or using what energy you have in the right way. And then, right mindfulness, or being attentive to what is going inside you and around you. And lastly, the right meditation or concentration, applying the mind to meditation and concentrating on what you are doing. So, the word right means what is appropriate to help a person progress toward enlightenment. In values education, we incorporate the Buddhist perspectives of the human person as a chain of life from womb to tomb, the only being capable of attaining enlightenment, the emphasis on moral development, discipline, meditation, wisdom, self-control, goodness, mindfulness, calmness, and the middle way or moderation. In Buddhism, we find a philosophical support for values education to push our students towards enlightenment, freedom from ignorance, and continuous development that includes the process of learning, unlearning, and relearning. Buddhist practices like meditation, mindfulness, tranquility, self-control, and moderation are even more applicable to our contemporary students who are living in the busy and noisy world. Moreover, Buddhist doctrines on meditation and mindfulness, when properly applied, can help us counter some of our Filipino weaknesses like lack of discipline and lack of self-analysis and self-reflection. Although there are parallel practices in Christian tradition, Buddhist practices are very good alternative for Filipino students who are not all Christians. So that is Buddhism and its relevance to values education. Let's now move to Taoism. Taoism is China's indigenous religion and philosophy. Tao, pronounced as Dao, can be defined as path or road. It emphasizes harmony with the Tao or way. The Tao Te Ching, which is attributed to Lao Tzu, and the writings of Zhuangzi are widely considered as fruits of Taoism. Taoism is a religion of unity and opposites, as evident in its best-known symbol, the circle of yin and yang. This represents two primal opposite forces in the universe, light and dark, male and female, hot and cold. Taoism is not just a religion or philosophy, it is a way of life and a way of thinking about things. Taoists believe that if you look at life and think about things in the right way, you will be much happier. The Tao or the Way encourages us to trust our own inner nature and discover who we are. The way of the Tao is the way of nature and of ultimate reality. Tao is often described as a force that flows through all life. A happy and virtuous life is one that is in harmony with the Tao or nature. The philosophy of Taoism understands Tao as the one thing which exists and connects the many, many things. In Taoism, human beings are seen as a microcosm of the universe. That is why it is believed that a deeper understanding of the universe can be achieved by understanding oneself. To make it possible, it is important to strive for a harmony between humanity and nature. The human nature for Taoism is having a harmony within the body. According to Taoist principle, illness can be viewed as a lack of alignment or harmony within the body. For example, an imbalance of yin and yang within the body can prevent qi or breath from flowing freely, which in turn causes pain and physical illness. Zhong Dao Song, a Taoist master at Baiyun Temple in China, said, "The basic idea of the Taoist is to enable people to realize that the life which makes sense are those which are in harmony with nature. Although different countries in various regions have their own cultures, if we pursue harmony between humanity and nature, there will be no friction and no violence." Chinese culture emphasizes coexistence, and one way to achieve that is through Taoism. Wide hearts embrace all, and all rivers run into the sea. That is the beauty of peace and harmony. In education, Taoism emphasizes self-cultivation pedagogy that promotes self-awareness and self-transformation. In a way, Taoism is inclined to student-centered type of education. In Lao Tzu's opinion, the highest level of wisdom is knowing oneself. The most powerful success is conquering oneself. The most everlasting people are those who can hold their own center. Non-Tao people identify with externals. They do not know who they are. They compete with each other. They lose their center and change their will just to cater or please others. The Tao Te Ching says, "Those who know others are clever. Those who know themselves are truly wise. Those who conquer others are strong. But those who conquer themselves have the true power." In relation to our majorship, the principles of Taoism have a wide range of benefits when applied to values education. The concept of self-cultivation pedagogy can help our students in the process of self-awareness and self-transformation. In the areas of peace education, human rights education, and environmental education, Taoism's harmony with nature can teach us basic and practical advice how to learn to live together and how to value our natural habitat as common citizens of this global village. And lastly, the idea of harmony with nature can help us and our students to cultivate harmony within ourselves. That is learning to resolve the conflicts within each of us that cause conflicts outside. Indeed, many of our problems and issues are coming from the lack of harmony within us, lack of harmony of our minds, hearts, words, and actions, and lack of harmony of our life goals and our ways of doing things. So that is Taoism and its implications to values education. Let's now move to the last part, Confucianism. Confucianism developed from the teachings of the Chinese philosopher Confucius around 6th and 5th centuries BCE. Confucianism is a social code of behavior, a set of very rigid code of behavior that honor ancestors and ancient rituals. The core of Confucianism is humanistic, focused on human development, family, and social harmony, not the metaphysical or invisible world. Confucianism considers this secular world a sacred world. It transcends the dichotomy between religion and humanism by considering the ordinary activities of human life, especially our human relationships, as manifestations of the sacred. That is because these sacred manifestations are also the expressions of humanity's moral nature, anchored or rooted in heaven. For Confucianism, human beings are born good. What spoiled men was bad environment. The worldly concern of Confucianism rests upon the belief that human beings are fundamentally good, teachable, improvable, perfectible, through personal and communal endeavor, especially self-cultivation and self-creation. So, The Confucianism focuses on the cultivation of virtue in a morally organized world. Moreover, Confucian discussion of human nature and heart and mind are directly related to their concern about human destiny. Its concern is not about life in the world, but about the life fulfilled in this world, not about the possibility of salvation, but about the process of transformation or self-transcendence through moral cultivation and social engagement. Some of the basic Confucian ethical concepts and practices include benevolence or humaneness, righteousness or justice, propriety or rights, wisdom or knowledge, and sincerity or faithfulness. These ethical codes are described as humanistic and may be practiced by all members of a society. Another Confucian ethical practice is the Ren or humaneness practice, which we know as the Golden Rule. Do not do unto others what you don't want others do unto you. The basic teachings of Confucianism stress the importance of education for character development or moral development of the individual so that the state can be governed by moral virtue rather than by the use of coercive laws. Confucius also believes that by nature, men are nearly alike. By practice, we are wide apart. We are different from each other. In relation to values education, Confucianism contributes to the cultivation of morality through cultivation of virtues and human relationships. One of our objectives in values education is to develop Filipinos who are social beings with sense of responsibility for their community and committed to the progress of the nation. The Confucian ethical concepts and practices like humanity, justice, duty, consciousness that are not highly theological and abstract can be incorporated in the cultivation of values among our students. And lastly, Confucianism provides us an underlying principle for asserting that one of the primary purposes of education is the moral development of our students. In values education, we provide ethical vision of right and wrong and increase our students' concern for the public good, and provide ethical basis of their characterization of values or virtues, because virtuous people are necessary for the well-functioning of a society. So that is Confucianism in relation to values education. To recap, we discussed the philosophies of man from Eastern philosophical tradition that are derived mainly from Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism. That's the Module 2, Lesson 5, Eastern Philosophy. See you in the next video.